Aloha, everyone. We are back, or should I say, I'm back. It's been about a week since I last streamed, but it's been only about 30 minutes since the last game between London and someone played. London wins. Well done by them, but that's in the past now, and we now move on to the Philly Poggers versus the Dallas Valkyries. It's just going to give us, we're just going to give the teams a little bit of time to make sure that they're situated and ready to go. But until then, we kind of just get to talk about these two teams a little bit. So, taking a look at these two teams' past plays from last weekend, we can see that the two teams, Dallas Valkyries, they took an L in their first round. Pretty unfortunate for them. Pretty unfortunate. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Poggers took a victory in their first time around. A pretty dominant one, winning 4-0. So between these two, we have the Philly team who were dominant in their first game versus the Dallas team who put up a good struggle but ultimately still lost in theirs. Now it'll just take another couple seconds probably for the two teams to give me the go-ahead to start, and then we will begin on Volskaya. I don't want to say that it's one of the better 2CP maps because, you know, 2CP maps are all bad, but it's one that I like. I like the general sort of lay of it. I like the flank that no one uses on the coastline. Philadelphia is good to go. Dallas is also good. That means that we are ready to get this started. It's been quite a while since I've casted. Of course, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be the best that I can possibly be. Obviously, you know, uh, I never stop being at the top of my game. It never stops for me. However, it will be an interesting case to see if Philadelphia can remain at the top of their game from last weekend. Once again, Philadelphia won their game 4-0. The Dallas captain cannot find the stream. Someone please help him in the Discord. I mean, at least the 5 people who are in here at this moment, they managed to find it. So I know that it's not exactly hidden particularly well. Now, side of Philadelphia, running a pretty standard sort of defense here. They've got the Genji, a blazing puncher, the team captain, the McCree, pretty good at dealing with Pharah, who's usually pretty popular on Volskaya, especially first point. You can get really aggressive with Pharah and have a pretty good escape route either way. Otherwise, standard tank line, Ryan Zarya. Pretty standard healers as well. Moira, probably the best healer for the Ryan Zarya. Low to the ground, usually kept in a group together. They're going to be playing against the Dallas Valkyries, running this triple tank, triple support comp. It's not goats. It's not goats because they are running. It's not goats because they are running a hog instead of a Zarya, but it's an interesting decision. Not going to have nearly as much damage mitigation, but they don't care about damage mitigation. They care about doing damage. They're getting right into the fray of things. They're pushing the side of Philly back all the way, getting a good slam onto the Zarya. Gets her weak, but dies for it. Blazing Puncher finally poking his way back into the fight. So many people on both sides are low, and the picks are finally starting to come out. They're fairly even for both sides so far. Pause play just looking to find the finishing blows onto those enemies, but he doesn't even need them. King Caesar? I assume it's Caesar. King Caesar is going to find all of them anyway. Massive play from King Caesar being able to finish up on all those kills. Really impressive first take. Didn't even take a minute. And now going into this next fight, they're going to be pushing in to probably a few, like around about 3 ultimates from Philly, but they have a few to respond with. They go in with the Coalescence, only to find a Coalescence on the enemy team as well. Blazing Puncher trying to hack and slash through the enemy, and he does manage to find 2. That should be enough to put an end to this push. Pause play isn't satisfied though. He wants to take out 2 himself. Unfortunately, he was forced to reload. Reinhardt swinging away and manages to find a few before being taken out himself. And ultimately, this is just going to be a hold from Philadelphia, and they're pretty happy to see that. Normally, if a team is so dominant in capturing first, they're going to have a huge ultimate advantage to capture second almost immediately. That's one of the multiple problems with 2CP. It's very easy to steamroll, but Philly manages to hold it off, mainly off the back of Blazing Punch's Dragon Blade. But Blazing Punches isn't happy with Genji, so he's going to swap onto this Pharah. It's a pretty good call. The enemy side doesn't have anything to deal with this hero. They have no hit scan, no range up top. The big slam's going to come out. Unfortunately, the team of Philly is not managing to get nearly as many kills as they want. They do manage to start getting into the cracks of the other side's armor, but this Pharah is still only just being dealt with. They're going to get the first tick, and they're getting this rally. It's going to be very difficult for the side of Philly to even push into this point. And we see it as they just get cut down one by one after the other. The side of Dallas, the dark horse in this particular game, managing to have a very dominant first attack, managing to have 5 minutes and 33 seconds remaining by the end. Not a bad play whatsoever. Not a bad play. They decided to go with this very, very aggressive composition. This very aggressive composition with a lot of sustain. It was a bold choice to put in the Hog, and to be honest, from what I saw, it didn't really do very much for them. However, it didn't really seem to matter, because they were able to get the kills when they needed to. And now, as we go in to the counterattack on the side of Philly, they're going to be looking.
I grow tired of waiting.
They're going to be looking to get an equally strong first attack. They kind of have to. Well, they have to in the sense of they have to if they want this to be a little bit competitive, right? The wind is probably taken out of their sails, and they want to get a little bit. They want to get a little bit of confidence back going into what they're going to need to be an overtime. And meanwhile, the side of the Dallas Valkyries sitting pretty That is the words I was trying to say. They are sitting pretty. They're just gonna manage to get here in time to finally get up to the choke point. Dallas is going to be playing against this attack of the double snipers. Dive. It's a bit of an interesting position. If they manage to get a quick pick onto King Caesar, then it should be pretty strong. Grubmerk is also going to be a little bit dependent on his Ana having pretty good aim here. He doesn't have a pocket mercy. Grubmerk getting taken down already by Thunder Potato. Hitstyle getting in, trying to do some damage. Unfortunately for him, most of the people on the enemy side are pretty resistant to Winston. In order for Winston to take out Hog, he needs to be doing about 15 seconds of zapping continually in order to actually get the kill through Hog's self-healing. And even then, Hog just gets enough time to get a rebreather again. Hitstyle finally taken down by his counter. Hockey Man going for that hook. Doesn't manage to catch it, but he still wants to get this Mercy. It'd be a really big pick for him if he could, but they decide, it's not worth it. She's too fast. Just take out the guys on the ground that I know I can get. He's going to be looking for a hook as well. Finds on a Lucio. That should be a death, and it is. Teammate manages to follow up on. But can someone please follow up on healing Shenron? He's so weak. And he finally gets taken out, corralled into a corner. And somehow the Philly Poggers managed to slowly take that fight. And it is very slowly, and it's it's interesting because you look and you see that the side of Dallas actually have the ultimates here. They have 3 ultimates ready to go. They were doing more damage. However, on a purely sort of compositional level, it didn't seem like they had the communication, perhaps, to deal with that attempt. Thunder Potato should be getting res here at some point, but no, his team is going to leave him dead. They decide they don't need him here. It's going to be a little bit difficult to push into this. Diva Bomb coming out, doesn't manage to find anyone. Meanwhile, it's Hal using his ultimate, getting a few picks himself, but he should die. Pause play, looking to find a kill, but just gets killed for it. Nano Boost coming out, as well as the purple. This Reinhardt is going to be looking to find much of anything, and finally, with the slam, he helps his teammate. But Shinra has just been struggling this whole time. It doesn't matter if he has Nano or not, has Shatter or not, he hasn't managed to really get much of anything out of it. Pause play wants to bully this little baby diva, but he's having a little bit of trouble tracking her tiny, tiny body. You could just punch her. You could just punch her, my guy, but he wants to let her stagger. The side of Philly, still running this dive comp. It's a bit weird, again, to be running it against the particular composition that the Dallas side is running with this Junkrat and Hog and Hanzo. But it worked for him the first time, so I can't begrudge him for it too much. As far as Dallas goes, their win condition really is that they... Ooh, that's not a very good place to start, though. But their win condition as a whole is basically that they just want to push this into overtime. Because if they do, then they'll get 5.5 minutes to cap the first tick of first. Meanwhile, the enemy Philadelphia squad will not get any time to do much of anything. It's a pretty good opening being created by the side of Philly, though. Getting 3 picks pretty early on, but they need to finish it off. They need to really elaborate onto the rest of these. They want to kind of go after Lucio, then they want to kind of go after the Rhine. It seems like they're kind of scrambling around, not really focusing targets, and that's going to be a really big issue for them, as now they've given enough time for the enemy team of Dallas to come back in and retake the point. They're going to manage to try and knock off the Hanzo, but he manages to climb back up. It's Hollow just being a gigantic ult battery at this point. Speaking of ultimates, all of them just being used on the Philly side for their benefit, or for the Dallas side, for their benefit of retaking and holding this point. Absolutely no progress. None. Zilch is made for the Philly side. And that's gotta sting. It's gotta be frustrating at this point, especially for someone like Thunder Potato, to be finding so many picks, headshots, and his team not really being able to elaborate on too much. See, he manages to take out half the Reinhardt's health, but because of the positioning, the pick doesn't really matter so much, or the damage doesn't really matter so much. He himself will get picked, but his team does have a Mercy, who might decide to go back and res him, maybe, but it doesn't look like it. Spermia just going to be taken out. Experimana, that's the one. Look at all the ultimates for the Dallas side, but just as many for the opposite team. Gonna have to pause the game here as Hockey Man has disconnected. It's unfortunate that we've had disconnect this early on, especially because now his ult charge is going to be reset, even if he does join back in. Luckily for his team, he was one of the few that did not have an ultimate ready to go. There are some unfortunate issues that we have, being what could be considered a bit of an international league. One of them is that usually about 1 or 2 disconnects per game is pretty common. The Dallas coach doesn't necessarily know what's just happened to his own player, so yeah, fair to assume just a DC. Hopefully shouldn't take much longer than 1 minute for him to reconnect. in the event, let's assume that he'll be back in just a minute or so, but looking at these two teams, we are seeing a really aggressive dive composition from Philadelphia. Like it's not necessarily classic dive, obviously, because of the Doomfist, but the Doomfist and the Lucio, but it is as aggressive as a comp as you can really get. But when you run a dive comp like this, even though they have the ultimates and they're probably just going to try and win this point off of brute strength and force alone, usually the better way of going about it is picking a target early. In this case, probably someone like the Dallas Valkyries Junkrat player, or maybe even the Hanzo, or maybe even the Reinhardt. Really, it's just about picking a player who can be melted pretty quickly and easily. Dive is all about communication, and it'll be interesting to see if they can use some sort of communication to decimate this point, because so far they've managed to come so close over and over again, but just haven't found that little piece of focus that they needed to win, even when they were in a 6v3 situation. It took them too long, they seemed too scattered, they weren't able to really lock the enemy team out, and considering that now they're going to be pushing into so many strong ultimates, especially because Shinron, the Dallas Valkyries Reinhardt player, does have this ultimate, and really, the side of Philadelphia doesn't really have anything to block the shatter. They have Ital's Winston bubble, but the Winston bubble is pretty easy to break, and it's on a very long cooldown. So as long as Dallas just breaks that bubble, there's literally going to be nothing that can be done about it. The player is trying to join back. It might just be on me to re-invite him. I'm not quite sure. Hockey Man is back in. I now have to fix the lobby for Alligator to only be spectating Philly again. What an unprofessional league we have here. I'm asking for a final "we good," which hopefully the captains will give me in just a second. The Dallas coach says that we're good. Just going to go ahead and ask Apollyon if we are good to go as well. Looks like he's about to answer that. It's unfortunate that this has taken so long. That's just the way that it is. Rest in peace. Alright, let's go. Getting back into it in 3 seconds. And the game begins anew. Once again, it's going to be on the Philadelphia Poggers to try and find a good way to approach this point. They have ultimates to push in, but the opposing side of the Dallas Valkyries have just as many ultimates to push them out. Ital seems to be a little bit not doing anything. I'm not quite sure if he's doing that intentionally or not, but the Dragon Strike will come out, doesn't manage to find anything, but Cyclical Lemming will find the enemy Mercy, and that should be enough to end this push on its own. Ital finally showing signs of life. Good, I didn't have to pause again. Only one ultimate used on the side of Dallas to reject an entire push, and even then, that ultimate probably wasn't necessary. King Caesar picking off Blazing Puncher before the push even begins. That's going to be even more time that the side of Philly has to wait to come back. Thunder Potato in a bit of a risky position right now. He just needs to run away. So many time is being wasted for the Philadelphia team, and it's got to really sting for them. They want to just get a good engagement off of this. Whether it works or not, they still want time to have a second go-around. Dallas Valkyries are going to be using their Sound Barrier in order to counter the Dragon Blade. Mana using this ultimate as well, and the tire coming out, picking Mana off immediately. These picks are once again going back in the way of the Dallas Valkyrie squad, but are they going to be able to elaborate on it? They've never been able to. With the first pick onto Cyclical Lemming, it looks like they might still be faltering a little bit. Luckily, for the Dallas side, they do have that gigantic spawn advantage. I may have gotten the sides confused. It's fine. Unprofessional league, unprofessional casters. Blazing Puncher, after just having his ultimate one fight ago, already so close to getting it again. It's Heil, getting both the Rampage off of the Winston ult as well as the Sound Barrier. Still going a bit weak on health, and almost getting taken out by the Dragon Strike. Meanwhile, Grubmer cutting through the enemy team before getting slammed into the wall. It's Heil still looking to use his little tickle gun and get any sort of damage through onto this coalescing defensive squad. Cyclical Lemming has this tire for the next fight, and that should be enough to end it regardless. This Doomfist now really just staggering. He wants to try and find a pick or at least survive, but he's just not going to be able to. Pause play, slamming down. Blazing, not able to find anything through that extra health. Cyclical, getting taken out before he can use his tire, but the enemy support of Mana and now Blazing are also down. This fight is not going the way of the Philadelphia squad. And it will be Dallas, the Dallas Valkyries, taking the first map. After getting 4-0'd in their first game, they will finally put themselves on the board of the league. And you love to see a redemption story. You love to see it. As far as the two teams go, it was really not so much anything. Someone's asking for a short break. Short break before next game? Understood. Oh, you guys got... Oh, yeah. So I got that backwards. Yeah, it was Dallas. Dallas was the team that lost, but still managed to put up a good fight. Philly was the side that 4-0'd their opponents. This was my mistake. Again, I didn't sign up for this game. I didn't have time to prepare for it. So, feels bad. Did Dallas win last week? Okay, that's not what the schedule said when I saw it. Yeah, Dallas Valkyries have one loss. They won 2 maps, lost 3 maps. That's what I see. I mean, if I'm wrong, then the league schedule's wrong. So, you know, what do you want me to say? Someone updated it, and someone made it wrong. Yeah, I mean, I guess that they won. So I guess we have 2 winning teams here. So someone messed up the schedule. In any case, never mind. Dallas, they won the first map. Who cares? Still interesting. Philly taking their first loss of the regular season, though. Turns out, gods can bleed, as they say. I really can't put that onto any individual performance from anyone. It was really just more that the side of Dallas did so well in their executions. They did so well in just kind of generally outskilling their opponents when it came down to actually looking for those kills in those fights. There were no huge combos. There were really nothing of the sort. It just kind of seemed like even when Philly was given an opportunity to win second point, they just weren't able to collapse onto it. And that's got to sting for them a little bit. But for Dallas, they've got to be enjoying having a pretty good leg up to start this second round of theirs. Lost 3 maps. 1, 2, it's correct. Okay. Alright, so the side of Swap Me and Hilal. Okay. Swap to spectators. Polyon, swap to blue team. Alright. We good to go now, boys? I gotta change the map. Add Alligator and me. I'll add you after the game. There's really no reason for this account to add anyone that's not a captain, to be honest. So, you know. Alright, we're just on Volskaya. Now we go to Lijiang, and I see that people are messaging me. Yes, I see this. I see this. Hold on. First I'm going to swap to Lijiang. Itzilo was on the Philly Poggers side, so he spectates blue only. I swear to God, if that's what someone just told me to change, I already know these things. Lijiang, bam. Jump to present. Yep, exactly. I knew it, Apollyon. I knew exactly what you were gonna say. Yeah, okay, we good to go, right? We're good? Mana for Alligator, okay. Swap to spectators, make him only spectate the blue team. Alligator goes on to the blue team. Now we're good. We good, boys? It's just a constant thing with you guys, ain't it? Nah, I'm kidding. I understand. Get the thumbs up from the Dallas coach. Apollyon. You're not the Philly coach, but I guess that you're acting as their liaison. So, we good? Well, Apollyon was typing, but that doesn't mean that he was going to give an answer. Cool. Alright, team captain for Philly said yes. We're good to go, finally. Going into Lijiang.
Now arriving at Lijiang Tower.
Alright, let's get it, lads. Lijiang, you know, it's a pretty good capture point map. I like it, or Koth map. You know, basically every single map favors different heroes and different playstyles. This one is my least favorite of the bunch because it benefits the goats composition a lot, and that's boring. But we'll see if either team even plays the goats comp to begin with. It looks like the side of Dallas may be looking to run their sort of alternate goats comp.
Justice will be done.
Oh, please play Bastion. Please. He's not going to. So far, the two teams looking like Dallas side is just going to run their sort of hybrid goats comp with the Roadhog instead of a Diva. Meanwhile, the side of Philly is going to be looking to run something once Blazing picks a hero. Blazing? 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 Oh yeah, pause. Okay. Alright. Cool. From one pause to another. Can we reset? That's time wasted for us. Of course. Of course we can reset. Of course. Next time when you say that your teams are ready, please actually be ready. And now we're on a different map. Okay. This map is a lot different from the other one. This map does not really... I mean, I guess you can play goats on it in the sense that you can play goats on any map, but this map benefits a lot from heroes like Lucio or Wrecking Ball, who can kind of abuse one of the entrance ways, or the kind of tight, narrow entrance ways, especially the one at the coastline, and try and boop their opponents off the map. It's also pretty good for Pharah. A lot of open spaces and cracks looking into the point where she can kind of just stand up there and spam down at opponents. It's ultimately probably my favorite of the three maps on this map. Looks like both of the coaches are typing something. And now they've stopped. Isn't that neat? I hope that we see some Wrecking Ball on this map. We won't, because everyone in this league is really averse to playing that. And now we replace Alligator with Mana, because Mana can't play apparently. Or because Alligator can't play, apparently. Not Alligator, I mean Blazing. Alright, well, either way. I've replaced whoever left. So there you go. One day this game will start. I still have another game to cast after this. The Dallas coach is claiming that their hybrid goats comp is not called goats, it's called Valkyrie. Okay. I mean, sure. I'll call it that if you want. No other team is going to play it, so I guess it is basically the Valkyrie comp. Blazing is saying that he cannot play because he has school tomorrow and it's 11. And his parents have walked in on him 3 times and told him to go to sleep. Isn't that wholesome? Anyway, we're good to go. So now we get to wait another couple seconds for the game to even start anyway, even though we are good now. One more pause and I'm DDoSing Dilly Pickle. Yeah. Yeah. Bunch of fucking snakes on Philly Poggers. I won't stand for this. Yeah. Okay. Alright. As soon as this 6 seconds ends, we still won't get to actually start. We'll get to wait another 30 seconds. Nice. Grubner, don't you do this to me. You listen to me, you son of a bitch. Don't you play hamster in the spawn room, but then not play hamster out there? I'm watching you, grub. Meanwhile, the side of Philly look like they do have their composition put in. It's pretty flexible comp, really strong up close with Apollyon on the Reaper, really strong from far away with Thunder Potato. But more important than literally all of that, we're seeing 4 tanks solo support Brigitte from the Dallas side. Now they have 2 supports. They have taken so long that they are giving up point control to the Philly team. Grubmerk kind of looking for a little bit of a way to approach in. The Pharah literally just ignores him. Literally just doesn't think that he's worth their time. Apollyon getting a little bit close, a little bit hot and heavy. Almost goes down for it, but gets healed up. He's running away now. Meanwhile, back at the point. Cyclical Lemmings is trying to protect his team from this far as barrages. Meanwhile, Shinron is getting a little bit aggressive for a Moira, sucking the Pharah out of the sky slowly but surely. Even though Dallas had to give up the point to begin with, they managed to come back in with this really aggressive 4-tank comp. Honestly, if you're gonna run a 4-tank comp, this isn't a bad squad to do it with. A lot of self-sustain. A lot of ways to keep everyone alive, and the Moira will get her ult really quickly. Grubmerk going a bit deep, he wants to get in this slam, manages to kind of distract the enemy team, that's all about it. Apollyon gets a little bit too close and gets melted for it. Mana tries to keep him alive, but only gets taken out by Applause Blaze himself. And Dallas showing how ferocious they are. This entire set. First managing to win the point on Volskaya, and now, with this interesting composition, doing pretty well here on Li Jiang. Grubmerk is in a bad position. If that Reaver would have approached him, he would have gotten dunked on, to say the least, but Apollyon's going to get taken out by pause play anyway. His mines were kind of poorly placed. Enemy team is going to waste a lot of their shield trying to rush through it, and now pause play wants to munch the enemy team. Unfortunately, he pushes everyone away from the Graviton before it can catch them. So many ultimates on the Philly Poggers side, and so few for the side of Dallas. Doesn't really matter because Philly is still going so low in all of these engagements until finally they lose their main healer, and now they have to back off here. Apollyon slowly just getting bleeded out in pause play, going in for the flanking Roadhog kill. They're now having to push into this. They don't have enough time to try and delay here. Thunder Potato is going to get taken out. Mana, the only person alive, only because he died earlier, isn't able to touch. Rest in peace, the Philly Poggers side. Unfortunate for them. Let's see if Dallas ends up keeping this really aggressive comp. I couldn't blame them for it. It worked pretty well last time, but now it is basically, for all intents and purposes, just a little bit of a scuffed Goats comp. And Philly is going to try and abuse that fact by running things that would normally counter a Goats comp in the first place. Those are my dogs in the background. Just treat them like an excited audience. Dallas squad getting to this point first. Philly tried to go around the long way, and now they're going to have to push into Dallas. Dallas is more than prepared to deal with that. Apollyon is trying to spam into this fight, not managing to really find much of anything, but still getting pretty good ult charge. He's a little bit caught out from the rest of his team. He could get focused here, but everyone's just kind of ignoring him. Hamster Ball getting a bit aggressive, going to get supported by his teammates, and now inside. of Dallas is going to get this first point capture, and off the pick that they just got, hopefully the first point win for them. These ultimates are now coming out. Philly doesn't want to give this up just yet. Alligator should be melted down here, and finally through the shield, Pause Play will get the kill. Pause Play with a little bit of help from Caesar is going to finish him off as well. Pause Play playing Brigitte. The support, by the way, meme is old, but man, it's still right. It just seems like the side of Philly doesn't really know how to approach this. Going to use this tire, but it's a bit oddly placed. It's going to have to go around the side. Pretty lucky it didn't just get killed by a mine. It does manage to find Hockey Man, but that's about it. Meanwhile, the pin comes out, gets the kill on a Thunder Potato, so this isn't completely out of reach for the Dallas side just yet, especially as they get that grab out, and now the picks onto those two. They're going to be winning this fight as well. Mana trying to use the Coalescence to keep his already dead team alive. Bit of an optimistic play, but I can't blame him for it. But now Dallas only has the ultimates of the Earth Shatter and the Sound Barrier, so they have a pretty good aggression and pretty good sustain ult, but they have to play against what's probably going to be 4 ultimates on the side of Philadelphia. All 4 ultimates could be devastating if used at the right time. The flanking Reinhardt, of course. Both Reinhardts get a charge pin. That's going to keep the numbers pretty evened up. And finally, that slam comes out from Alligator. Tries to get kills through it, but the Sound Barrier just keeps the enemy team alive. But now he's going to have his own Sound Barrier to try and support him as he pushes through the enemy team. Alligator at only 18 health before finally getting healed. He's still pretty worse for wear. Gets taken down by Hockey Man. Mana tries to come in here, fight the power, but fortunately for him, it's a 1v6, and even though it's a Brigitte and she'll manage to survive through most of it, doesn't mean that you can take on that entire storm by yourself. Thunder Potato and the Graviton Surge combo still managing to get a lot of work done. Just needs to kill this mortar, and they see none. They get a lot of damage out. They get the opportunity to come back in onto this assault. Their whole team was coming back right at that second. They just don't manage to touch before the overtime wick burns down. Philly coming so close. So close. But still, this is a 2-0 lead, now in favor of the side of Dallas. Now, as we go into the third map, which, by the looks of it, is going to be King's Row. King's Row. Okay. Hopefully, for the side of Philly, they'll manage to find a little bit in the way of just anything. Literally just anything. Any sort of way to try and mend the bleeding that they've been having this entire time. No one's calling for a pause, so I assume we're good to just rock in onto this. An actual Garnish. Who is this man? If he's spectating for one of the teams, meaning if he is, a player on one of the teams, I need to put him to only be able to spectate that team. Okay. an actual Garnish is a Philly player. So spectate blue only. Okay. Alright. No one's still calling for a pause, so I assume that we're good to go. Even if they say that we are good to go, you know, it's just going to go bad anyway. So let's just get right into it. Kings Row should really just continue to benefit Dallas. Because Dallas basically have been running these hyper-aggressive compositions that have just been doing so well. And it's because the side of Philly doesn't seem to know how to meet that aggression. They're not running anything like counter goats. They're not running anything like an Ana who can just leave everyone with no healing. They aren't running any sort of high stun compositions or anything like a Sombra that can deal with their opponents when they get so aggressive. It looks like the side of Philly is going to start running this Mei. Triple support Mei. They're kind of not a bad idea. Mei does basically counter the Grub Merc hamster ball, and the triple support is probably because they're just tired of dying so easily to all of this 4-tank aggression spam.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds. We all have our job.
As we get in here onto King's Row. This is kind of an all or nothing sort of play here from Philly. If they lose here, they do lose this set. So we'll go to a map 4 for the map differential, but we won't stay much longer than that.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Grubmerk swinging in on this hamster ball. He's going for this slam pretty early. Doesn't manage to find much of anything for it, but he does get out with his life. The Mei freeze is so effective against him. Cyclical Lemming doing a lot of damage here, helping his team secure that kill onto the Alligator, and now coming around the backside. The spam should be enough to at least cut through the Lucio, and it does get pretty close, but it's not enough. Now he's going to be looking for this Moira. He just saw her in front of him, and now he just can't seem to find her again. Sets down a trap for the sake of it. As it distracts the Zarya, he gets the kill. Lucio also taken down. This should be a really easy point capture for Dallas. The Reinhardt now coming in, just doing a bit of feeding, and that's about it. The Mei, once again, with these delays, but they seem poorly planned. All that's going to come of it is a little bit more ult charge and about 3 seconds of delay. Cyclical Lemming almost has this Riptire. And a lot of the rest of his team also coming up on their ults. He's going to get a big aggressive here, but the Mei is right behind him. Should be able to get the kill onto him. Executes him. Pause play, also getting taken down by that Reinhardt. And now the side of Philly just wants to aggress here. They're doing so well onto getting these kills, and they want to secure the staggers. Grubmerk executed once again by the Mei of Thunder Potato. Thunder Potato kind of trying to protect his team, but in the process kind of accidentally protects the enemy team. One Blizzard coming out, but will the opposing one be seen as well? Apparently not, but we will see a lot of other ultimates coming out from both sides. Cyclical Lemon coming around the backside with this Tyrant finds two. That's a pretty good opening for the side of Dallas, and they want to really get something out of it. They're going to get a lot of push before the side of Philly is able to put any sort of real recontest onto this payload. However, when they do, they will have a lot of ultimates to do it with. They have 4 right now, all 4 of them pretty strong in both sustain and getting these kills. Mana almost taken out. Perhaps extends a little bit beyond the rest of her team. The rest of his team. Rally coming out. Now how are these teams going to get the aggression out here? Alligator's going to be looking for a shatter. If he can just land it, He lands it but freezes. So even though they do manage to get that stun out, both teams are going to be pretty poorly positioned. However, the floor positioning is better for Philly, able to survive through their freeze. Now getting these kills back on. They're going to re-contest and retake this point. They seem to have forgotten about pause play until finally they melt them down. Pretty good defense for Philly, but they've used everything now. They've used every single ultimate that they have. They're going to have to try and recontest against Cyclical Lemming with this tire, as well as all of the other ultimates that are coming out. They are going to kill Caesar, and he's not managing to pop off the Primal Rage because he was too frozen. Paz is trying to get a little bit of a C9 going. It's not a terrible idea. Until finally someone accidentally stops the payload. They didn't know that you were there, friend. They had no idea. They didn't know until he started shooting at them. Now we see that luckily for Dallas, they managed to get a good few ultimates out of that fight. Grubmerk now looking to get a little bit of damage done. He could deploy the mines at really any point. He chooses to do it now. That's going to keep this Brig separated from the rest of her team, as well as take out the Moira. Cosplay dueling the Brigitte, kind of in a bad situation, but the rest of his team is winning their fight, so it's not too terrible for him. Yeah, the entire Dallas side is managing to cut through the rest of the enemy team. Pretty good on them. And now they're pushing forward even more. They don't even want the opportunity to contest for the side of Philly. King Caesar is going to be killed, but it really doesn't matter at this point. Dallas has already gotten the first point, or the second point. Hammer Down coming out. They want to recontest this really early, like up into their spawn doors. I can't blame them. It's not a terrible place to do it. However, just because it's not a terrible place doesn't mean that's the best place either. They're going to be using a lot of their resources, even though Philly didn't, even though the side of Dallas didn't really use much of theirs. They still have a lot to go around here. Both support ultimates are going to be popping one. They still have the Lucio as well. Philly is just beating down onto the side of Dallas. They've been tired of getting tossed around this entire set, and now they want to get a little bit aggressive with it. Cyclical Lemming is going to find another pick onto that main tank, and now Mana is completely cut off from the rest of his squad. Dallas is going to start pushing it back.
This is going to make you feel better.
Cosplay getting really aggressive. The Lucio sees him. Only just manages to connect a little bit in the way of shots. Cosplay trying to shoot down, but he's not finding very much. And, well, that was interesting. We don't need to talk about that. King Caesar popping this ultimate. Unfortunately for him, so does the enemy Reaper. Only manages to find Cyclical Lemming, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to come out of this with anything else. He gets the kill onto the Reinhardt, helps with the kill onto the Moira. Pretty well done. The Reaper ultimate, even if it didn't manage to get too much in the way of kills, only managing to find one, it still was a pretty good distraction, and he still didn't die. And that opened the door for the rest of his teammates to go in, especially with that Earth Shatter, and finish off the team. Thunder Potato now swapping onto the Widowmaker. Pause play wants to get a bit aggressive here. He has this dragon. He can use it either as a zoning ultimate or otherwise. Ultimate's going to be coming out from the Lucio, keeping the rest of his team alive, and Thunder Potato now trying to find much of anything. No one's really focusing him, and off the back of that, he's going to find at least two. Helping with a little bit of the picks onto the rest of the squad. He sees the Hanzo over there. He decides, it's not worth my time. I want to take out the guys who are pushing the cart. Unfortunately, pause play is not having it. We'll take out two of the enemy squad. Hockey Man getting taken down. Fortunate for him. Fortunate for the rest of the Dallas side is now they have to kind of back up here. They know that they're not in a very strong position, especially when they don't have that sound barrier. But Dallas does have the Graviton Dragon Strike. That's a pretty good place to start. Unfortunately, they have to wait again. No one's contesting Thunder Potato. No one's able to survive this walk up completely unfazed. They just need to stay behind this Rhine shield, otherwise they're just going to be getting picked off again and again. They don't have the time to do that. Cosplay gets a lucky pick, but it was a pretty risky one at that. He almost gets taken out for it. They push him with the sound barrier. They want to use the Graviton Dragon Strike. Managed to find really not much of anything with it. Everyone else is already dead. And Cyclical Lemming is the one who's going to be doing most of the damage with that tire. Thunder Mateo wants to get back on contest, and he's trying his very best, but he has to freeze himself because he knows he really just can't do it from there. The side of Dallas get a full capture. It will be in overtime.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
Not a bad job from Dallas. Not a terrible job from Philly. They did manage to put it into overtime. And really, so far as the rest of the series has been going, they're probably pretty happy about that. We're all confused about what Paz was doing. We're all very confused. But his team got it in the end, so can you even really complain that much? But meanwhile, now it's going to be Philly's turn. Looks like they might kind of like Thunder Potato's Widow. They might be keeping him. Meanwhile, the Dallas Valkyrie, they might be looking to run their Valkyrie strat. No, cosplay going on to this Ana. So far, it's a triple support team. The question is, what is King Caesar going to end up playing?
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I could use a little more time to get ready.
It's going to be a triple tank, triple support comp from Dallas, but certainly nothing like GOATs. This has a bit more flexible utility. A bit more flexible. They really believe in Grubmark's hamster, and whether that's well placed or not, I'm not sure, but I still like it because someone's playing hamster. Thunder Potato trying to get some picks here. They see the hamster ball just kind of rolling around, don't really manage to punish it. Thunder Potato getting into a bit of a duel with Diana. The pause play just wants to back off of it. Fortunately for him, he can't back off away from this Tracer. Manages to get the purple, but she just recalls anyway. The whole Dallas side slowly dying to Dill Pickle. Grubmark finally manages to find a little bit of a reprise here. And Dill Pickle wants to take out his assaulter here, the hamster. Philly doing a pretty good job on this first point attack. A little bit of a scattered attack and defense, but ultimately Philly just managed to win now. Tracer could use some healing. Thunder Potato did a lot of damage that round. You can see that by the fact that he's already popping this Infrasight. Fortunately for him, he's been spotted out here, and the Lucio does not like is up there uncontested. Cosplay manages to get a kill onto Apollyon, but he goes down. Thunder Potato anyway. Cosplay still gets another kill onto Apollyon. More is balanced. Thunder Potato doing a really good job of just being a little bit of a pest up here, shooting down at the enemy team. Unfortunately for him, because he's not able to support the rest of his team, they can be pretty weak in some situations, and that's why Alligator can go down and the Diva can be demeched, and he doesn't really seem to be doing much of anything to really help them. Thunder Potato is good for getting picks like he just did onto Grubmark, but his team needs support, and he's not really able to provide it. Mana wants to get up there and heal him, but he just can't do it. And now Thunder Potato should be taken out. He gets the kill on the pause play. What an absent Philadelphia Poggers, more like Thunder Potato Poggers. Am I right, everybody? He's still just shooting down at them. Manages to do really at best chip damage, but he sees that the hamster ball is coming back into the fray. Hamster does have this minefield. He might be looking to use it just about now. I wouldn't do it though. The rest of his team is dead. Manages to find the Tracer, but that's about it. And the Tracer just gets rezzed ultimately anyway. Rubmerk still keeping this hamster play, so that was purely just a little bit of a mistake on his part. Pause play might get taken out of this Diva Bomb, but he managed to evade it, and now he's going back behind the enemy team. He wants to get a little bit of ult charge and maybe find a pick or two. Of course, he's not getting any support, and she'll get taken down pretty easily, but the rest of the Dallas Valkyrie squad is dying anyway. The kill still comes out onto the Widowmaker, but pause play, in order to keep this alive, he'd have to get a pretty large Dragon Strike, and it's going to go down either to the Diva or the Venom Mine eventually.
I shall seize the payload safely to its destination.
Side of Philly, they want to try and push this in, but the delay was so long and so many of their players did end up getting picked off that Dallas is going to be able to come back in on the recontest. Pulse Bomb comes out, doesn't find anyone. Apollyon just trying his best to get a little bit of damage in, but really is just being a little bit more than an annoying fly that finally gets swatted out of the air by the Fire Strike. Both Reinhardts have these shatters, and it looks like one is kind of leaning towards a little bit of a flank shatter until he kind of realizes, the enemy team probably has theirs as well. No, he's going for it anyway. Algair's going to have a pretty good opportunity here to get this shatter, unless his team gets shattered first, but Lemon gets spotted out, so he has to go back to his team. Again, Algair has had so long here to find anything in the way of a good shatter. The opposing Dallas Valkyrie team has had no ult, has had no shield for so long. Ultimates are coming out from both sides, but no one's really dying. For every single defensive ult, there's another attack ult until finally people start getting picked down slowly. The trades are coming out pretty evenly, but Algair should be melted down. Only so much that the Mercy heal can do. And with that, the rest of the Poggers side will fall.
Now to accelerate.
Cyclical Lemming still has the shatter. He never felt they had to use it, and two other members of his team have pretty strong ultimates as well. Meanwhile, on the side of Philly, the only thing that they have to show for this is Thunder Potato's Deadeye. And at best, he'll probably be able to get one, maybe two picks out of it. He's going around the back side, but doesn't really mean he's going to find much of anything, especially if this Tracer kind of alerts the enemy team to this flank before it even begins. Uses this ultimate, finds two, both supports. They can push in off of this, and they can have a pretty strong attempt at it as well. Slam still comes down though. Unfortunately, for the side of Dallas, they will still go down anyway. Off the back of Thunder Potato's Deadeye, a little bit of the distract from Apollyon, they do manage to finally get the second point. They only have 2.5 minutes though to get third, which can usually be the most difficult point of this map. Spawn advantage for the defending side is so strong that you basically need a team wipe once you get to the end. Cosplay gets a pretty lucky pick onto Apollyon. Good place to start. Two teams just kind of posturing around each other. Cyclical Lemming breaks the enemy squad's shield. Cosplay is going to use the advantage of that. Just try and mow people down with his tactical visor. Not a bad play, and that'll be a retake for Dallas of this payload. King Caesar and Hockey Man either coming up or having their ultimates. Really, a lot of ultimates should be seen in the next fight from both sides. There was the Pulse Bomb. Weird little duel going on between Thunder Potato and Pause Play, but eventually one does best the other. Speaking of besting the other, the side of Dallas still holding strong here. Few ultimates used from both sides, but it ended up not mattering too much, at least not in favor of the Philly side. Thunder Potato still gets taken down. Rubmerk going deep into enemy lines. He has a really aggressive playstyle that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. That time it gets him caught out and killed. Pause play, looking like he wants to go around the backside. Gets a good hit onto the Mercy. Could have gone for Zen, decided against it. He knows his team needs its help here. Gets a little bit of a helping hand onto the kill onto the Alligator, and that's a good start for his team. Battle Mercy coming out from Mana. Unfortunately, it's not going to find much of anything. And now Philly is in a really, really bad position. Even though Thunder Potato is managing to find quite a few kills and trying to ramp off of it, here, Thunder Potato with a 3K, that's not a bad thing at all. He might get the 4 onto Grubmerk, with a little bit of help from Apollyon, he manages it. Even though the Philly side is in a relatively bad position, this is still possible for them to retake. They just have to have pretty unrelenting aggression. They can't let the enemy team regroup. They need to keep going after single pick after single pick after single pick. Apollyon deep in enemy lines, he wants to do just that before eventually deciding, I need help here, going back to the payload. It's getting so close, though. Grubmerk trying to cut through their side. Just goes down for it, but he does manage to find Dill Pickle, gets rezzed anyway. Ultimate's coming out from the side of Philly. They want to take this all the way to the end. Pause play, uses ultimate, doesn't find literally anything. Now it's just about them trying to recontest for long enough for their teammates to come back. The Rhine goes down, trading pretty evenly, but the numbers are still in the advantage of Philly. Bit of a weird sort of delay on the pause there. Shield coming out, pin onto the Mercy of Mana. It's looking like the side of Dallas is going to be able to hold this in the end. It's just a trickle from both sides, but unless Thunder Potato manages to find much of anything, or his Tracer partner, it's going pretty poorly, and he just manages to not get to the point. It's going to be a 3-0 for Dallas. Unfortunately for Philly, after 4-0ing their opponents in the first week and having a really strong final assault onto C, they will lose. They've lost a set. They've lost to Dallas. Dallas finally getting their first game win of the regular season. We're still going to a map 4. Map differential does matter quite a lot in this league. And it will be Route 66. It just kind of seems like the side of... I don't want to say that the side of Dallas is playing something weird that Philly just hasn't been able to figure out, because I don't necessarily think that's true. I think that Dallas has had to change things up from time to time in much the same way that Philly has had to change things up from time to time. It just seems like Dallas all around are doing really well at kind of adapting better, right? Now as we go on to Route 66, this is a map where you can run dive tanks. Dive tanks especially pretty strong on second and first. You can run Orisa, one of the few maps where you can run Orisa. You can run pretty standard Ryan Zarya. I'm going to be looking to see if we're good to go. Just asking if we're good to start this fourth and guaranteed to be final round. Yep. Dallas says that we are good to go. Philly also says we are good to go, and so we will begin. I actually like Route 66 quite a lot. Like I said, you can play things really flexibly. Pharah is good up until about third. Bastion's good basically the whole way because it's a full payload map. I really want to see a Bastion play here. I think that Bastion is just kind of one of the more interesting heroes to be played, especially in a league like this, because I think it presents a puzzle to the enemy team of how are you going to deal with this, and a lot of people in this league seem really averse to playing Ana, so it's always interesting to see with the weird sort of solution that they come up to deal with it. Because normally, if someone's running a Bastion, the pretty obvious play is just running something like an Ana or just running something like a Roadhog. But Roadhog isn't very good right now, and a lot of people in the league don't like playing Ana. So, you know, it always kind of devolves into really sort of a pick fest, or maybe someone's good at Junkrat, and we get to see a little bit of that. Either way, I think it just kind of creates an interesting scenario. It's looking like Dallas might want to give us that right now, but that's always subject to change. They are still just in their spawn. Meanwhile, the defending side of the Philly Poggers look like they're kind of running a bit of a dive squad. If they're running this Winston, they're going to want a Diva for Slap Happy Bro. There it is. This is a bit weird. They're depending pretty hard on... We need more Ana enthusiasts. I agree. I think Ana is the best hero in the game, and certainly one of the funnest to cast. But not a lot of people in this league really like playing her. A little bit of a dive defense coming out. That's going to get melted pretty hard, if assuming that... Never mind. Never mind. Okay. So, Dallas get onto the point. I was going to say that gets melted pretty hard. The dive defense gets melted pretty hard by Bastion. But luckily for the side of Philly, they managed to get an early pick onto him. So now they want to kind of win this first fight before the Bastion can really have a chance to get set up onto the payload. Grubmark coming back in. He's not set up yet. He's a little bit weak as well, so he wants to try and melt someone or at least get some healing before he goes down. He goes pretty close to it though, and this Tracer is harassing him, knows that it's now or never. He needs to take out the Bastion before he can get set up, and Thunder Potato taking out a lot of the support that the Bastion would have anyway. And this is actually a really bad position for the side of Dallas to keep playing Bastion, because now they have to walk so far and put themselves in such a bad position even to set up in the first place, and Grubmark is going to realize that as he now swaps onto this Widow to try and contest Thunder Potato. Thunder Potato proving himself so far to be one of the best Widowmakers in the league, but Grubmark is not going to go down without a fight. He takes out Apollyon. A little bit of a slow flick onto the enemy Widow there. Two kind of posturing with each other. They don't really know how to approach. Pause play, getting into a little bit of a duel between the Widow and managing to succeed. King Caesar also getting a little bit of chip damage, and pause play doing so well, either him or the turrets, and now his damage is so highly ramped up. Unfortunately for him, he just doesn't have the range to kill the Winston off, but now the Winston's going towards him, wants to feed him a lot of ult charge for free. Alligator should die here if anyone just gets even a sliver of damage onto him, but he manages to get out with his life, but not Slap Happy Bro. They're going to have to give this up. They don't really have the support anymore. And pause play is still just tearing through the enemy team until finally he gets shot in the head. Apollyon wants to go and contest Grubmark's Widowmaker. Unfortunately, for the side of Dallas, that's not even going to be necessary as Grubmark goes down. Shinron could pop this Valk at any moment they wants to. The kills are slowly going in favor of the Dallas side until finally some picks start coming out, making it a little bit evener. Bombs coming out from both sides. This is really just becoming a little bit of a slap fest at the end of first, but it looks like Philly is starting to win it. They're going to hold at the very end here, and this is a pretty good place for Philly to be, and a really bad one for the opposing side, because now so much time has to be wasted just even walking to the point to begin with, and so much gets to be set up for the side of Philly. Look at all the space that they have, and they want to kind of use that as Apollyon tries to go in and kill the Widowmaker, but unfortunately doesn't get off the one clip, and he gets a little bit pressured out. Doomfist coming in, doesn't manage to kill the Widowmaker, but does get the kill onto the Zenyatta. That cart was just being pushed right then. A little bit of a C9 hoping to come out, but they don't really need it, as they're kind of winning this fight anyway, Dallas. Counter. Dallas taking it in the end, just managing to get these individual kills off of the support of that sound barrier, staying alive. Cosplay getting really aggressive here. He sees the Zenyatta, wants to take him out, but yeah, gets taken out. The bloodthirsty support squad of the Philly Poggers managed to punish him. Speaking of getting punished, Grubmark deep in enemy territory just finally gets enough healing to keep himself alive. If anyone had even turned and looked at him and done a little bit of damage, he would have gotten eliminated at the very end. This is a Widow duel with the advantage for Grubmerk. Only person with a shield. Now he's up here. Advantage not for Grubmerk. He's a little bit of a 2v1. Jumps down. Pause play into a scuffle here. Manages to finish off the D.Va mech, and now he wants to slam the D.Va into the dirt. Also going for this Orisa now. Fortify comes out, but a little bit too late. A lot of the damage is still already done. Lucio also going down. Pause play doing a lot of work there to secure second for his team. Side of Philly will not get the recontest. They just have to give it up. Cyclical Ming. Still just holding on to the Shatter. Thunder Potato going in deep, getting a kill onto Grubmerk to begin with. He's now in the back line of the enemy team. He might get a little bit aggressive here. Could take out Hog if he was a little bit faster about it. Never mind, he's on that team. I don't know what I'm saying. Thunder Potato getting deep in enemy territory, just the same as Apollyon. Yeah, it's just a full assault onto the back line, and now front line, as the back line's already dead. Apollyon doing a lot of work. Just used Pulse Bomb, already halfway to another. Pretty substantial stagger. Pause play, playing a bit up close. He could get staggered as well if he's not careful. Grubmerk back onto the Bastion. Does manage to find something with a surprise attack that comes from it. Grubmerk is also really close to his ultimate, so he wants to hold on to this Bastion pick. Now no one seems to be able or willing to deal with him. Apollyon dying to his own Pulse Bomb. That's unfortunate for you, my friend. Finally, the Bastion play does come out here. They managed to get into a little bit of a advantageous position finally and get fully set up onto this point. He also has his ultimate in the event that he wants to use it. And no one's really dealing with this Bastion. Someone's chipping at his heels, but through that armor it's going to be difficult to get any sort of meaningful damage. Bastion could ult if he wanted to, but he decides, no, I just want to take out the Hog right here and now. He will at least make it easy for his Doomfist partner to finish up the job. Looks like Dallas is once again going to get a capture onto this point, managing to get to the end.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
Pretty rare that you see a team that was already doing really well swap to something like a Bastion, and I think that's why it worked. I think that the reason the Grubmerk Bastion worked so well was because it was such a weird situation to even use Bastion in the first place that no one could have seen it coming. And because no one saw it coming, he was able to get one pick before the enemy team even realized what was happening, and then basically mill through most of the enemy team before they were even able to recognize how to counter it. And even by the point that they knew how to counter it, he had gotten so much in terms of positioning advantage and ult charge that it really didn't matter too much. So his team was just kind of able to ramp out the win there. What are you doing, boys? What is this, Dallas? What are you doing? What is this? Why? Why do you pain me like this? We didn't practice this, Monkaz. Fuck. Bastion and Torbjorn. Torbjorn still has a level 1 turret because he hasn't been updated yet, but that will be gone soon enough. Fortunately for them, they're going to be playing against a Bastion. Okay. Alright. Okay. That's all you can say. But at least Hockey Man is running an Ana, so can't be too upset, can you? Cannot be too upset. How can I even cast this? How can one even cast a game like this. Shanghai Valkyries, yeah. I mean, at least when Shanghai makes a meme squad, it like has the intent of actually succeeding, doesn't it? But this, and they're, I mean, they got the sleep. Hockey Man just kind of still around. Again, how do I cast this? Hockey Man managing, oh my god. How have you done this? How'd you do that, Grubmark? I thought you were dead. Everyone knew where you were. How'd you pull that shit off, Grubmark? You piece of garbage. Okay. Well, he's now looking to do it again. Flanking Bastion round 2. Wants to take out this Orisa. Should manage to slice right through her. Gets the Mercy. Should get the Brigitte. What are you doing? What are you doing, Grub? What are you doing, Pog? You can't do this. This isn't allowed. This isn't the thing that you're allowed to do in my games. Okay. Grubmerk in the same place, but now he has ultimate. They know where you are now. You can't possibly succeed again. And Apollyon takes him out before he has a chance. The rest of Philly should be able to win off of this, but they've managed to disappoint already, and Posplay already finding a pick. Posplay putting in a lot of damage onto the Orisa, but the ultimate coming out from Apollyon should be enough until he gets taken out by the Zen. Grubmark coming back in, shooting in through the slight sliver in the wall. He's popping his ultimate as well, wants to try and take out the enemy team's Bastion who's just respawned in. Doesn't manage to find it, and will get taken out by a gigantic pulse bomb. It looks like Philly is finally going to be able to make it off the back of that pulse bomb, and basically that pulse bomb alone. Or are they? They're not really aggressing. They're kind of letting Lemming do what he wants. What's happening? Oh my god. He flanks. Yeah, the basic summary for this is just, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense, does it? In any case, Grubmerk is almost back, which means almost certainly Dallas will win this next fight. I know it might look like they're in a bit of a bad position, but they've come back from worse. So, Grubmerk getting the pocket that he deserves. Fortunately, the enemy team knows exactly where he is, and they want to laser him down. They do not want a repeat of what just happened. Grubmerk will get taken down. Torb turret trying to get built. Just manages it. He has the molten core and is dead. Now he's back again. He has the molten core and they've already capped. My head hurts. I have another game to cast after this. Okay. Philly have 3 ultimates, both support ults and the Bastion ult. Dallas also have 3 ultimates, and more importantly, now have a shield tank, who's already dead. Grubmerk is now pushing, just walking right past the entire enemy team. Only one person will punish him for that, but it's enough. Molten Core comes out, his turret's already dead, that doesn't mean he can't do a little bit of damage himself. This Molten Core is pretty strong. Torbjorn's gun in general has a pretty good chance of taking people out. It's the turret, or not the turret, it's the tire. The tire does the work. It's just, you know, it's something. Two ultimates on the board here, Manas and Pickles. However, they're going to be trying to push in to the Bastion ult, and he's flanking again. And no one's doing anything. I can't cast this. I can't say anything about this. This is a mess. I mean, he died, but he got one. Now the rest of his team is going in as well. King Caesar managing to pick up the slack after Grubmark is gone. Gets a 3K. I mean, there's nothing I can say here. There's like nothing I can do. I think actually that this should basically be required viewing for this entire league, because I'm not doing okay, Wes. I'm really not. Because you shouldn't be allowed to do this. Thunder Potato is having a little bit of trouble killing a turret that can't move. Meanwhile, he 2-taps a Ana that can move quite a lot and has the worst hitbox in the game. Thunder Potato gets a double dink onto, King Caesar gets a double dink onto Thunder Potato. And I mean, who's winning now? Is anyone winning? Is anyone winning this fight? Is there a fight happening right now? There's a tire coming out, I guess. Is it gonna find anyone? No, it gets taken out. Like, there's not a plan anymore. It's just chaos. It's just massive amounts of chaos and people doing whatever they want. Grubmark has entirely changed the entire way that this game is played right now. No one can trust anything about the normal conventions of playing Overwatch, because Grub he just does whatever he wants, and he gets like 4Ks. He's doing it again. At the very end, he's coming in with this flank. He will finally get punished for it. He will finally get punished for it. The Suns will come out as the enemy Reinhardt's saying each other, but one Reinhardt is deep in enemy territory and the other is not. I hope his A gets punished for that. However, the only people getting punished right now is the entire Dallas line, slowly getting picked off either by the Graviton Surge or Apollyon. But now Grubmark coming back in and survived with just 1 health before finally being taken down. Okay.
Score 3-3.
All right. So, I mean, I can't, like, normally, you know, whether people listen to it or not, I kind of like to give some sort of analysis, some sort of, like, well, you see, this team won because of this and that, and if the enemy team wants a chance to come back into this, they just need to do this or that. But I can't do that here. I can't, because nothing makes sense anymore. Absolutely nothing. It's just Grubmark doing whatever Grubmark wants, and Philadelphia just dying to it. That's it. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, so the Dallas coach has just told me that he has no idea what's going on, and I think what's happening right now is Grubmark is carrying, but he's doing it in the worst way possible. And what are you doing? He's not being punished for this. Not really. People are kind of approaching him one-on-one, and he's doing a lot of damage. And he's in the back line. He'll kill Brigitte. Okay. Sure. Still a lot of pushes going to be made by Philly here, though, as they don't have to deal with that Bastion right now, which means the backbone of the Dallas Valkyrie squad is currently kaput. The Grub will come back just in a second. Pause also getting a pick as well. Grubmerk wants to come back in with this flanking Bastion yet again. Slices through the enemy team. Doesn't really kill anyone, but manages to get them low and, more importantly, distract them. What is this? So, I mean, I guess he's the best Bastion in the league. I guess Grubmerk is the best Bastion that the league has to offer. I guess that's what's happening right now. Dallas Toxins. Fuck. I mean, I'm not against it. I think it's a good name. Didn't Dallas only have, like... Is it Dallas, or am I thinking of another team who at one point, like, legitimately had 2 members? I don't remember who this is, but there's a team that's, like, that was really in a bad place. At least when the season started, and might still be. Now he's going to try and play DPS for this. I'm sorry, but I think Grubmerk has certainly proven himself to be good at something, at least. I mean, even if he's not a good DPS player, he's certainly an adventurous one. And we see that now as he plays the hamster ball. Apollyon wants to counter with the Bastion of their own, and Grubmerk should be melted. Bastion kills the hamster so incredibly fast. Apollyon knows he could be taken out pretty easily if pause play just gets a hook onto him, so he's trying to keep him in that little area over there and not allow him to push out. Reinhardt does get hooked though, and that's one of Bastion's shields gone. Grubmerk getting a little bit aggressive, shooting right into the back of a lot of the enemy team. No one's really paying attention to him, as has been the case this entire time. No one really pays attention to Grubmerk, and he just does damage for, like, no cost. Speaking of doing damage for, like, no cost, no one on the side of Dallas is dying, and everyone on the enemy side is dying. Dallas is going to win this, by the way. They're going to 4-0 this, and they've spent most of their time with no main tank. So what do you say to that? What do you even say about that game? I need to interview Grubmerk. I must interview Grubmerk right now. Oh my god. I'm gonna interview Apollyon and Grubmerk. I'm gonna interview Grubmerk first, because he's deserved this. And then I'm gonna try and interview Apollyon, get him to explain how the hell his team had such a difficult time dealing with that situation. But other than that, this has been a 4-0 for the side of Dallas. Philly winning their first map with a 4-0, losing their second map with a 4-0. It's an interesting thing, ain't it? I'm inviting Grubmerk to the party now. RIP. Yeah, you're right. I've invited Grubmerk because I want to talk to him about what the fuck just happened.
private party, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I just
All
invited
right.
you, so it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you have it set up
What's
so
up,
that
trivia?
Hey there, my guy. Do you have it set up so that your mic can
Yeah,
be
man, I'm a
caught?
streamer.
Okay, all right. Um, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. What the fuck was that? What
Look,
just
man,
happened?
the strats, they're meticulously calculated so that we can win every single game. Poor old boys.
Really? Because Silly Rabbits, who I guess is on Dallas, said we didn't practice this,
Yes.
monk ass. And
That's because Silly Rabbits is kept out of the loop. Like he's a trash captain, so I had to go ahead and take over as coach.
I understand.
But to my
Yeah.
my London teammates, I'll forever love you guys. You guys are my number one.
Um, I mean, like, so everyone knows flanking Bastion is a meme in and of itself, but
Uh, Hold on, excuse me, sir. Flanking Bastion is not a meme. Flanking Bastion is a strat.
flanking Bastion, I
You
think
may
you've
call
proven
it a
is a
meme
strat.
strat if you will.
It is a meme strat, yes. Um, I mean, I think really the real heart of what I want to ask here is, so I understand running the Bastion. I
Mm-hmm.
understand running the flanking Bastion. I don't
Yes, yes,
understand
yes.
in what part of the thought process you guys were like, okay, we're going to run a flanking Bastion, and we're not going to have a tank, and we're not going to have anyone supporting
Look,
our
man, to
Bastion.
maximize the flanking Bastion strat, you need to have max heals.
But no one was in position to heal you ever, because you were.
Yeah, but I have my own heals.
You're right. You're right. I guess you've succinctly proven me wrong.
Yes. Watch Contenders this weekend.
Watch Contenders this weekend. Yeah, King
Yeah,
Caesar.
I'll send it in.
God.
Hey,
King,
man, it's been great games, but I
it's
gotta go.
been. I understand. I'm gonna talk to one of your opponents now. So,
All right. Wait, I
adios
want to hear
and
a poly. Let me pull up stream. See it, man.
adios. Yeah, I agree. One person doing a dumb idea throwing, 6 people doing a dumb idea plan. But how true is that even when it's Grub is simultaneously 2 IQ and 200 IQ. I agree as well. Okay, I'm going to invite Apollyon now. I don't know. I got nothing to tell you. Hello. Okay. Looking for Apollyon. Did Apollyon get off or what? Hold on. I'll check in these recent players. Huh. Yeah, I guess Apollyon just, like, left. I mean, I'm trying to get him in, but, you know, if he doesn't want to be interviewed right now, I really cannot blame him whatsoever. So yeah, I guess there you go. One team had a strat and executed it well enough to win, and the other team just struggled. So what do you do? I can interview someone else from the team, though, because I'm still very curious as to what just happened. I feel so disrespected right now. Why do you feel disrespected, Dallas Captain? Because I'm not interviewing you? Because let me tell you something, you were not MVP of that match. Captains do not get interviewed, except in, like, the mid-game, if we ever did that. But, I'm crying, haha, strat. Yeah, I know. Yeah, what a strat it was. Oh, I was talking about Grub, okay. Yeah, I guess Apollyon just doesn't want in. Who else is on, that side, though? Mana was, right? Yeah, Mana is a Philly player. Correct? Chat, tell me if I'm right. I'm pretty sure Mana's a Philly player. Not you, West. Shut up. I don't want to invite him and him just be another Dallas player, but he's a Philly player, isn't he? Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. Hello. Uh, how do you lose to that, Mana? No, Mana. No. I think we can talk about why you lost the series as a whole in just a second. But what I'm really asking is, how do you lose to a team running flanking bastion over and over? Oh yeah. Also, put your voice to being shared. Put your voice to being shared on stream.
Always. Right, there you go. I think in the last match the tilt was pretty much starting to set in. We weren't really playing our best, and I mean our Bastion, we were running Bastion as well.
Mm-hmm.
We probably could have won that if we'd like focused more on the game rather than getting a bit angry at the end because after that end of King's Row map, we were so close to completing it. That was, pretty tilting.
Yeah, that must have been really discouraging. I understand. So, do you think that do you think it was also kind of the tilt of just the flanking bastion working over and over again and no one doing anything?
Like, he'd consistently pick off one player and then we'd have to reset and someone would get angry or someone would get angrier and angrier and then at the end we just couldn't play.
So it's just a big ball of it was a snowball effect. Everyone started off tilted already and it just got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
That's really unfortunate. But I mean on the bright side, you guys 4-0'd in your first game. So really ultimately you're not in such a bad place. Probably compared to most teams by the end of this weekend. So, I mean, at least you have that going for you, and now you know what one of your weaknesses are. It's unfortunate that your tank player had high ping. But,
Dallas was a good team. Dallas were a good team as well.
Dallas was a good team this game. They did really well. A little bit of memeing at the very end, a little bit of disrespect, salt in the wound, but ultimately, yeah, they did a good job. Well, this was I think pretty good insight. Thanks for that. Apollyon ignored me, so I guess he's a little bit salty as well. So in our case,
Apollon's now officially on New York, so
I know he's on New
getting out
York.
of Philly as quickly as possible.
Oh my God, he's just gone. He's just I don't want to be here anymore, guys. I'm not having fun here.
Just a fat cow.
Well, in either case, I want him on because he was on here. I mean, Grubmerk isn't even on Dallas, so.
Nice.
Well, in either case, or is Grubmerk on Dallas? I think he was a sub.
I'm not sure.
I think he's a sub because West said that West or someone else said that. Yeah. Well, in any case, again, this was pretty good insight. Again, sorry for the high ping and. Sorry that you're down Apollyon now. I'm going to be looking in the free agent section a little bit.
Yeah.
But hopefully by the time next weekend rolls around, you get things a little bit sorted, and hopefully the ping will be in your team's favor this time around.
Yeah. Thank you.
Adios.
Adios.
Well, you hate to see it, but you also love to see the Bastion. Now, I'm not sure when next round will be ready, but in either case, we have to restart the stream because. In either case, we have to restart the stream just because. In our case, we have to restart the stream just because of the fact that we need a different name for it for the next game. So I'll be doing that now. And I mean, odds are the stream will probably start again in like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes when everything's ready to go. So I'm not sure. Let's see, who are the two teams that are about to be playing next? I know that neither one is Shanghai, so does it really matter? It's Seoul and New York. New York, apparently, a lot of people consider them one of the stronger teams in the league. I guess. Looking at the record, Seoul apparently have not played a map. I guess that first week was their bye week. Or what is this? Did New York and Seoul not play last weekend? What happened here? Huh. Well, I mean, they did, but I guess no one recorded the results. What's happening here? Am I dumb? Oh, it's Houston and New York. Yeah, I am dumb. It's Houston versus New York. New York, no one's put their record for what happened last time, so I guess someone should update that, because I don't remember it, but the VOD is probably still available if somebody wants to go look at that and check what the score was. And Houston, going off of the calendar, is up one win, 4-0. Let's see, who would they go against? Houston. It was Houston versus London, so I know that the first day we had a little bit of problems with the team having to quit entirely, so that might be a legitimate 4-0, that might not be. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out in a second, or I'm sure someone will tell me. But in either case, Houston versus New York next. And I'll be back in like 20 minutes. So, you know. Bye.